If you're struggling with a lot of debt, especially high interest debt like credit card debt, it's very tempting to withdraw from your 401k and kind of get rid of it because it eases the immediate problem. But it's so important that before you actually do that, you run the calculations to make sure it really does make the most sense for you. My name is Gaby Rincon. I'm a money coach and financial strategist. And actually, most of my clients have debt payoff as one of their first goals in terms of money coaching and like working together. And I understand the like instinct of like, okay, well, I have this pot of money just sitting here. I don't need it right now. Let me just take it out, pay this credit card down, and then like, oh, things will be easier. But if you do that, you'll get hit with a 10% early withdrawal penalty fee, aka 10% of whatever you were planning to take out is going to just boom, automatically be gone. Not to mention, you'll also get taxed as ordinary income. So like come April 15th, you could have a pretty significant tax bill on your hands. So here's what I want you to do in order to run your calculations to make sure that this is truly the best decision for you. Number one, you're going to start off by creating your debt map, okay? I can't tell you how often this happens that like people actually don't have this written out. So you're going to list all of your debts, your minimum payments, the APR. How long is it going to take you to pay it off? If you pay the minimum, what are you applying right now? What does that calculation look like? These are the facts. We need to have all of the facts before taking any actions, okay? So please spend the 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour to actually create an accurate debt map. And then spend some time thinking about like, okay, brainstorm. Is there anything that I can do to increase my income and apply that difference towards my debts? Or is there anything I can do to decrease my expenses and again, do the same thing? Anything above the minimum payments that we can do will obviously help us like get out of debt sooner because more of it is going towards principal. So you'll get off that like interest seesaw situation. And this is incredibly important. Be really honest with yourself on how you got into debt in the first place. So like, was it one big emergency that like you didn't have any funds to like lean on, aka you didn't have another option but to swipe credit cards? If that's the case, then have you built an emergency fund now, aka like, is this just gonna happen potentially again if you don't have cash on hand to like fall back on? Or was the debt due to like overswiping or maybe like not really having a handle of your finances at all? So we were really overspending. If that's the case, then have you spent the time to align your finances? Do you know for sure that if and when you paid off this debt, you wouldn't swipe the credit cards again and then kind of end up with no 401k plus credit card debt? And then I want you to spend some time running the numbers on like the big picture. So like if I had left my 401k alone and that money had been benefiting from compound interest year after year, decade after decade, what would that have grown into at the point of retirement? This will help you see like, okay, is this truly worthwhile? Does this really make sense for me? And sometimes it's important to remember that it's not about what is the like best option, but more what is the like least bad option, the one that hurts the least. Which one's the one that's going to put us in a better situation, not only now, but also in the future. Like we have to balance both present and also long term, you know? And if you ultimately decide to do the 401k withdrawal, make sure you also account for like increasing your contributions after the debt has been paid off in order to make up for the fact that you withdrew so much of your retirement at this point. When I've done this debt payoff assessment with clients, I've seen people end up on both sides of the coin. So it's like sometimes we do this whole thing and it makes the most sense for them to just kind of leave their 401k, buckle down, let's start a side hustle and just kind of pay off this debt one payment at a time. And sometimes it's like, oh, you know what? It really unfortunately makes the most sense to withdraw from this 401k. And again, we do make sure to increase their contributions accordingly so that they can catch up and be back on track for retirement. At the end of the day, the debt payoff strategy that will work the best for you is going to be based on your actual numbers. Like we have to actually look at your financial picture, your debt payoff picture, your cost of living, etc., in order to understand like, okay, this really makes the most sense for you. For an in-depth guide in terms of like assessing that, check out my DIY money moves, like debt payoff strategy. It'll walk you through how to run those calculations and actually has calculators linked. Otherwise, follow along for more money tips.